Tyra, excuse me, the fear switch really looked at some of these girls and said, you know what she needs? A poor bleach job, a janky haircut, and for the entire process to be recorded for public consumption for decades to come. Today, we're going to be discussing some of the worst makeovers to come out of America's Next Top Model.
The girl with the bad haircut, get out here.
Starting off with Brittany from Cycle 8. I will say, this color, this rich, vibrant red is so perfect for her. But that weave, it's giving Big Bird. Cheap, cheap, cheap. They gave my bitch Kankalon. They really mess with Brittany. She's an amazing model. She had such an amazing facility as a model, such amazing features, really, really striking features. And then the red hair was like the perfect complement to like her really pale, like distinctly European kind of vibe. Then they put the worst, cheapest weave in her head. There are so many shots of that weave on camera. Like when they said it looks like a cat was living on her head, they were not lying. It looks ridiculous. There's one of my favorite shots of the weave is when she goes up to get her picture from Tyra and she turns and like it's just like a straight line coming out of her head. It is absolutely ridiculous and I do not understand why no one said anything. Also, this is going to be a running theme throughout a lot of these makeovers. They obviously did not teach her how to take care of her weave. They obviously did not tell her, hey, if you're going to be having a weave, these are the steps you need to maintain your hair. This is the way you need to brush it. This is the way you need to wash it. This is how often you need to wash it. So they just put it in this white girl's head. First of all, putting weave in like people with straight hair's head or people who like lack a kind of like texture in their hair, that's torturous. That is absolutely ridiculous. The amount of pain she was in. I understand why she was smoking cigarettes all the damn time. She was like in so much pain. She was going through it because of that weave that Tyra installed, the fear switch installed on her head. It was not fun to watch. It was not entertaining. It was not cute. It was honestly scary. These are the moments actually that I look back on as a fan of the show and think, how did they get away with this? And why were these girls just like, oh yeah, sure, okay, that's fine. Girl, this is your head. Moving on to another white girl with a messed up weave. We're gonna be talking about Molly from Cycle 16. Her inspiration was blonde Diana Ross. And when I look at Molly, here's the thing. There are so many moments where Tyra has like a view of like what she wants someone to look like. And I'm like, yes, I see the vision. I see it, girl. Blonde Diana Ross for Molly. She doesn't even have like a Diana Ross personality. She doesn't have like the big Diana Ross eyes, or she's not like an exuberant personality. She doesn't even sing. I don't understand why we thought give the blonde girl the big curly hair as if is that supposed to bring that out of her? I don't get it. Maybe I'm not supposed to get it. I think with a lot of these bad makeovers, it's like, you're not supposed to get it. I just don't understand why we couldn't have given Molly clip-ins and curled her hair when we needed her hair to be curled. I don't know why it had to be this big. Like, she specifically said blonde Diana Ross. I specifically said Mia Farrow and Rosemary's Baby. Mia Farrow. I just don't get why she had to be put through that amount of pain just for them to say, oh yeah, that does look bad. I just wasted, hours of my life to have this put into my head and then you just like strip it out. Maybe Tyra is evil. Start the documentary. Start making the clips now, ladies. Molly's gonna be one that we put on here twice because at the finale, she got this like blonde, I can't even call it a pixie cut. She got a bowl cut. It looked ridiculous. Also, to get the blonde bowl cut and then for CoverGirl to say, you're not getting the $100,000 or the cover or the contract, but yet I've cut, this is like my real hair. So then she's like messed up going out into the real world because all the pictures she has is with long hair or a blonde Diana Ross fro. But then she showed up to the agency and she has a blonde bowl cut. It's like, now she has to take a whole new, they really set you up, Molly. I'm so sorry. If you're watching this, girl, you deserve so much better. They made you look like a mean person. They put you in bad hairstyles. Stacey Ann. Ooh. Let's be honest, the ponytail was not the look on Stacey Ann, but the spiked up Jersey Shore Polly D pompadour, I don't know if that was the look for her either. She definitely needed some type of short hair or like some type of like close to the face hair to really accentuate that amazing jaw that she had. But the length and styling she received was so off. Also, this is going to be the beginning of a really interesting trend of dark skin, specifically dark skinned Black models getting really, really short cropped hair. like really, really short hair. Every time there's a dark-skinned black girl, it's like either the long Naomi Campbell weave and then Tyra hates her the entire season or like embarrasses her on national television, or it's like the short cropped style so her hair isn't a problem for stylists that we're hiring for the show. It's just something really, really interesting that I feel like is rarely talked about. The fact that these girls are literally chopping off their hair, and the fact that Tyra Banks, as a black woman, should know the importance of hair to a black woman. But again, we're models, so we do crazy things. Like, on one hand, I'm so happy that Stacey Ann did not have these unqualified hairstylists from around the country. Where did they go that season? Rome. Some Italian playing up in this woman's head, just making her look ridiculous. I'm glad she didn't have to deal with that. But on the other hand, I hate that her look is somewhat limited in some way. And it's also like her femininity in a way being stripped down. And we can get really into the relationship between like misogynoir and the relationship of like femininity and black women and like transphobia and how European beauty standards play into that. That's a whole nother video in itself. But if you're enjoying this video or if you have any other video ideas, go ahead and leave a comment down below and subscribe to the channel. It means so much having you here, friend. Thank you. This wasn't even a makeover. This was a joke. This was a practical joke that Tyra was playing. This was season what, 21, 20, 21, 22? And she said, hey, what if? What if? Like, how much can I get away with? What will they let me get away with at this point? We're talking about Denzel from Cycle whatever. Shady, but true. And they gave him a Midwestern high school theater production of Fiddler on the Roof. This fake glued on beard with no lace. And he looked Amish and it didn't even have this correct hair texture. It was ridiculous, so ridiculous. So ridiculous that you can't even like give into the fantasy of like, oh yeah, I see. The second he was cast, in that interim period between him being cast and him appearing on the show, they should have said, oh hey, by the way, you need to grow out your beard. And we're gonna shape it up for makeovers. This literally came out of a high school theater's prop box. Like it wasn't even one of those that you put on the mannequin head. It's just like, throw it in there. Like this was an ensemble member. This was for like the rabbi and for the roof. This wasn't even like Tevia's beard. So ridiculous. And I don't know what the aim was, but he's like, was homophobic, is homophobic. So maybe Tyra did her big one. The next one on the list is the winner of Cycle 11, McKee. I understand that they were going for some type of like Linda Evangelista short supermodel haircut, but it ended up turning a bit too Liza Minnelli for my taste. Yeah, with a Z. Cutting your hair short and dyeing it black is what we do during manic depressive episodes. It's what agencies do when you've fried your shit to hell and back. The black had zero depth. It looked like she was literally wearing a wig at times. Like it literally was styled like a wig, or like the Lego movie. Or Mr. Potato Head, Mrs. Potato Head, where it's just kind of like propped on the head and it just looks like, that's what she was giving. And she's so beautiful and so statuesque and so amazing. She could have looked so much better. McKee's hair makeover looked good in some shots. It looks really nice in some shots. And I love the contrast of the pale skin and the dark hair, but black needed a lot of depth. They should have filled it before, but I guess she had like the red hair, so they thought, yeah, maybe her hair was fried because it was like that artificial, sexy red. So there's a possibility that her hair was fried and all they could do was chop it short, dye it black. But the fact that she won with it says a lot about her modeling ability and just like her features and like her statuesqueness. The next one is going to be someone who's been actually quite popular recently in the world of America's Next Top Model, and that's Sarah from Cycle 10, our fiercely real plus size, real size diva. The cut she got was like the typical soccer mom chop that they were giving to the girls at this time, but her color was like excessively brassy and her highlights were just like weirdly placed. I don't know what we were highlighting and low lighting and what we were accentuating. It just looked crazy and it looked ridiculous. The cut was choppy, the hair was brassy. It was just a complete chop. Like she was chopped. She has such a gorgeous face and the hair did nothing to like flatter or frame her gorgeous face. And then also the hair was short, so it wasn't even like accentuating her gorgeous figure either. This is another one where I'm like, Tyra, what were you thinking? Tyra, what was the plan? Tyra, what was the vision? You're losing me, girl. I don't know what's going on here. Moving on to another winner of America's Next Top Model, we're going to be discussing Tiana, not Tiona, from Cycle 12, and specifically her first weave, when they were like obsessed with her being like wind tunnel snatched back. So they gave her weave that was just like old man Jenkins balding hairline weave. It was crazy. Not only that, the weave was like spiral curls, right? But then her hair was straight, but she also had like relaxed natural hair or natural hair that hadn't straightened. So there was like a major texture clash. It was very like Niecy Nash. Your edges are in Africa, but your hair is in Eastern Asia. Those continents don't meet. She needed the ocean, whatever ocean that is, to kind of like make the Great Divide not so great. Eventually, the weave that she ended up with during the rest of the season, after a couple episodes, looked great on her. But that initial weave was so limiting and so ridiculous. I think they were like, "Oh no, this is the girl we kind of want to take like overseas and possibly win the season. We can't have her looking like this." Maybe it was like after seeing McKee, they were like, "Yeah, she looked kind of crazy. We can't have two winners looking crazy back to back." And they had Celicia, and then they had Whitney. Oh yeah, they were like, no, she needs to be our return to grace. She needs to be the one. This next one is a makeover that we don't see discussed quite often, and that is Lisa from Cycle 9. They chopped her hair off without any kind of thought of what her hair would look like in its natural curly state. You have Lisa, who's like 6 feet tall, glamazon, gorgeous, Gianna Dupree. And then we chop off her hair at an awkward length, and then when she washes it, it's like an even even more awkward. It's at an even more awkward length, and she just looks ridiculous. And we've taken this girl who's such a model and made her look so crazy. I understand why she lacked confidence. If I had that sitting on my head, I would look crazy too. I would feel crazy too. When I think of models who have been robbed on the show, Lisa definitely comes to mind. She deserves so much more, so much better. But she had somewhat of a great career, so that is the perfect consolation prize. Or actually, she like won a better prize at winning the show because she's not universally hated like Celicia. The next makeover we're going to discuss is one of the most iconic characters to come out of the America's Next Top Model universe. And that is the biracial butterfly herself, Jade Cole. Let's be real, y'all. That hair was doing her no favors. Color was weird and brassy and then like melded with her skin tone. And then towards the end of the season, they were doing this thing where they were like straightening her hair. She had like really dark roots with like this really weird yellowy blonde brass kind of going on. And I know she was raising hell about it and nobody was doing anything about it because they wanted her to give them that reaction. You know, I hate to boost this woman's ego. Jade is beautiful. Jade is supermodel status. And that haircut did her zero favors. Absolutely no favors. And now we're going to get into some honorable mentions. The first is Cassandra from Cycle 5. She actually looks really good with the blonde pixie cut. She doesn't have the wherewithal to like accept it. I don't know what's going on with that. Ebony, Cycle 1, who just shaved her bald. She is the origin. She is where this started. She is patient zero of cutting the black girl's hair off. It's like same thing for Stacey Ann. I'm glad she didn't have to deal with that. But I also hate that the process of getting her hair cut was like not as smooth as it could have been. We have the winner of Cycle 9, Celicia, with her mushroom bowl cut, Dora the Explorer cut, which I think was like kind of charming and cute. I think her first, weave was a much better look for her, but it made her more commercial and they were going for like the Louise Brooks look. They should have gone shorter if they were going Louise Brooks. They should have gone like Britney Cycle 16 if they were going to do Louise Brooks. Also, I don't know if Celicia is a Louise Brooks girl, but she rocked it, so... Okay. And then finally, Sarah, Cycle 6. It was just such a departure from her personality, and it was like fairly obvious. She looked good with the short hair, and she really rocked the short hair. It's very of its time. Kind of reminds me of the one sister from White Chicks. I think she looked good, but obviously she was not feeling the faux hawk feeling fantasy. So obviously these makeovers were so traumatic that some of these girls have to live with it for the rest of their lives, and for people like me to talk about it on the internet. And the worst part of some of these makeovers is the fact that these models actually look like plausible models before their hair was chopped off or colored or changed or things were added to it. But then we made the change and that instantly like diminished their worth as a model, which is so obviously based on their physical presence. In a way, they were sabotaged, and that's not fair. The show needed to learn that sometimes perfection needs to be left alone. And the show needed more enhancing more than it needed changing. But then again, we would not be talking about the show 20 years down the line if they were doing simple enhancement versus completely changing these girls around. All right, friend, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, or you can watch one of my other videos or subscribe to the channel. And if no one's told you this today, I believe in you and I know that your dreams are going to come true. All right, friend, until next time, bye.